Welcome back, YouTube. I'm here with this Acura MDX, and I'm going to show you how to save a bunch of money, and hopefully you liked the video. If you did, hit like, share, subscribe, maybe check me out on Patreon for $1 a month. That's less than what you pay for a single Starbucks every other day. So let's get into the video. Step 1, jack it up and take the wheels off. To get this control arm off, first thing you want to do is pull this cotter pin out. The factory one has this little hook safety you have to pull over here and then it'll come out. Take a 19mm, remove this nut and break this loose, break this ball joint loose before you take out the bolts to these two. You need this to be broke loose, otherwise you're never going to get this off. I'm picking up the spindle by the rotor. I got a pry bar in here to pull down, and I pounded the hell out of here. While we're prying, it's not working, so next option, I'm going to heat this with my blowtorch, get this nice and hot, which should expand the metal, which should be enough to get us to be able to pull this down. You have a 19mm here you need to remove. You have a 19mm here you need to remove. Ball joints broke loose, removed both bolts. Now I'm going to pry down on this, get the ball joint out, and then just yank it out of the subframe. This is a Delphi from Rock Auto. Front driver side is TC 5277-11B1. Passenger side is TC 5577-11B. Putting the new one in, you want to sort of get this one over here semi in there. Then we're going to line up the ball joint, get the ball joint fed up, put the nut in, and then we'll dick with pounding these guys into their respective positions. Once we're able to get this one in and threaded, it's not tight right now because we don't want to bind the bushings. You're gonna come over here, jack up the control arm, tighten down that nut on the ball joint, put the cotter pin through, and now we have enough pressure on this arm going upwards because you want it at the ride position. So what you do is you jack it up until the body of the frame starts to very barely move upwards, which means that this is pretty much all compressed as if this thing was sitting on the ground. And then you can totally tighten down this one over here. And for this one, we're gonna have to play with it because the bushing part's on an angle. So I'm gonna have to use a couple different pry bars, a hammer, flathead screwdriver type thing to get the hole to line up and get the bolt in. To get the bolt in, lined up with the top, I use this Home Depot pry bar, jammed it in there, pressed, and then used my drill to get it up, and now it's up in there, so I'm going to torque that down. Take the jack pressure off the control arm, and now we're done with this control arm. So you're going to do the same exact steps on the other side, and that's pretty much it. We're replacing this upper control arm here, and this one, we bought an adjustable one, so we'll be able to adjust camber now, where this one is solid and you can't adjust camber. But it's a pretty simple install, so let me just show you how to get to it. Here's the part number for the adjustable arm. It's by TRW JTC 1506, and I picked this up on rockauto.com. This top bolt here is what holds the control arm. So it's a 17mm. I found using this wobbly impact that I got from AutoZone is like the key to getting this out without too much headache because of where the shock is located. I mean, I guess you could disconnect the shock to get it out of your way, but that's too much work when you can just go to AutoZone and buy a set of wobblies. Right here is the castle nut and the cotter pin. It has a little J hook here that grabs a castle. So you use a flathead here, pull this J hook out, and then use another flathead to hook it here and pull it off of the castle nut entirely. And then we can get a tool onto this to take the nut off. Use a 17mm wrench to take off the castle nut from the ball joint. So I just pried it with this like 3 foot, 2.5 foot pry bar, and then I pounded the shit out of the top of the control arm and it popped out. And now I'm going to remove that top bolt all the way and just pull it out. Your alignment guy is going to do your alignment, but we need to get it at least close enough. So what we do is we take the bolt, we put it through so it locks the two together, so that side can't, you know, move on you. And what we're going to do is try to line up the edges of these two and then tighten down these nuts just enough to where they're not going to move while you drive to get your alignment. Slide the new one in and then just keep it loose. Now we need to line this up. The best way to do that is jack up the bottom of the spindle, and it will automatically, as it's going up, tilt in, and then you just slide this in the hole, bloop, and then put the new nut on. Put the cotter pin inside once you tighten it, and then we're going to jack up the control arm until the vehicle body starts to move, and then that means this angle is where it should be when the car is resting on the ground under its own weight. And I'm going to tighten down this nut or this bolt here all the way and torque it down, and then we're pretty much done. Put your wheels back on, lower it to the ground, you're done. Get ready to go home and go to bed. I'd like to thank everybody for checking out another video. Hopefully this saved you a bunch of money, and hopefully you liked the video. So hit like, share, subscribe, all that garbage. Till next time, wrench on.